Hey everyone, I am joined by Linus Sebastian, and we're in a brand new space for you. So a little bit of echo in this room. It'll go down as we go through the rest of this tour.
Yeah,
but
sorry.
This is brand new. I don't think, other than an exclusive Floatplane video, I don't think you've shown it anywhere yet.
No, we haven't. So the reason for that is that it's not really in a state where we can show it. So in the future, there's going to be about 1,000 square foot workshop that's going to have our CNC router, our upcoming CNC mill. We've got a lathe coming. Our laser cutter over there is going to move in there. We're going to have venting and kind of like do everything more properly.
Like a real workshop, right?
Like a real makerspace. So we're really excited about that. We're moving a lot of our storage over here for events like LTX and the Roast. Actually, hey, check this out. Speaking of exclusive first looks.
Before that, this video is brought to you by Thermal Grizzly and their high-end thermal compounds. Thermal Grizzly makes cryonaut paste for high thermal performance and conductivity without being electrically conductive, so you don't have to worry about shorting components. Cryonaut is particularly good for replacing stock GPU pastes, as cryonaut is a non-curing compound. Learn more at the link in the description below. Is this for the roast?
Is your chair.
Nice.
So you get to sit in one of these. So that's going to be pretty cool. This is also our our lighting thing. So you saw Brandon working on the colored, color changing thing. So these are just air filters.
Okay.
From like Home Depot. And then what you do is you kind of stack them.
Is it meant to be a diffuser or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you kind of stack them on top of each other, and then you light them from the inside, and you get kind of this cool glowing box thing, but it's just duct tape and air filters.
Very cool.
Movie magic.
Yeah.
So there's still a lot of progress for us to make over here, obviously.
So the goal is you already have 3 units, I guess technically, for not counting this one, is it? Oh, is it 4? Oh,
5
wow.
total now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So several other units that way.
First 5 units, then the world.
Yeah. So several units that has been shown in the past in other videos.
Yep.
We'll look at those too, but this one, what is the objective? I mean, you guys, I know you guys do some CNC work. We just did it for videos.
So the objective is twofold. One is to give us enough space for storage, because right now, you know those fun little puzzles where there's 9 squares and one of them's empty, and you reshuffle it in order to make the picture. We don't have an empty square right now.
Right.
This is the empty square when we need to move something around.
So your swap space.
Exactly. So that's the front here, long-term storage for things like LTX booth construction materials.
Okay.
The other thing is the workshop was previously over in the first unit, but we had a bit of a noise problem. So when the CNC is running, the entire studio space is unusable. However, concrete wall.
Yeah.
So the way these buildings are constructed is it's 8 units with drywall between the first 4 and the other 4, and then one concrete one that's structural down the middle. So because this is unit 5, now we can have a noisy workshop over here, do whatever it is we need to do over here, and we won't disturb the actual filming space at all.
So then I guess the question is, with all the equipment coming in, are you going to ramp up content that uses this stuff, like the CNCs? Because I see Alex working on custom blocks and things like that every now and then, but it doesn't seem like an everyday thing. So how do you utilize the space?
We've moved that router probably 6 times since we got it on him because it hasn't had a proper space.
Right.
So once we've got all the tools we need, they're all within reach. What we'd like is to do far more maker content. We're actually doing a round of hiring right now for writers, and I do have my eye open for someone with some maker fabrication experience. So we're always looking for ways to differentiate. And you differentiate in your ways with your in-depth analysis, with your overclocking, with your attention to detail that, quite frankly, a lot of the time I'm just like, really?
Next video.
You know, we want to differentiate with, well, the workforce that we can throw at things, how we can tackle projects that would take your team, 3 weeks to do.
Right.
Well, we want to do those in 3 days, which is still a long time and still costs us a lot, but is manageable. This is the worst smartwatch of all time, by the way.
There'll be a review on your channel, though.
But I reached my step target, thank goodness.
You weren't even walking.
What'd I tell you?
Oh, man. What is it called?
It's called the Nubia Alpha, I think.
Okay, well, I guess there'll be a review on Linus Tech Tips if you want to check it out.
Yeah, don't miss it.
Okay, so this is the workshop space.
Yeah.
Anything else we should cover here or move on to the rest?
Honestly, not really. It's very incomplete, so yeah, I think we can move on pretty safely.
Cool.
So this is by far the coolest thing that's happening in our space right now. So couple key components to this. We finally have the arcade machine working.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of repairing some of the panels and closing it up, and it's like ready to rock.
This was an old build, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a video. We were creating that because we wanted one, not because we needed to do a video. This is our board games table.
Okay, cool.
So we went and got basically every 4+ star board game on Amazon, and we're turning this into kind of like a lounge. So that the ping pong table is folded up right now because they actually just took out all the junk that was in the front here. You just saw that.
Okay.
And then these are new racks where
Actual
we're going to move most of our component storage over there.
So is it you think this will get a decent amount of use by the team?
I actually do think so, because this is pretty much the bangingest movie watching setup you ever did see.
Surround sound, I see. Oh, nice.
So you can decide 120 hertz BFGD 4K or 4K 120-inch projector. I mean, why settle for just one? Best of both worlds, baby. The couches are also
it is a nice setup, yeah.
Like super comfy. So there's already a Game of Thrones watch party that is scheduled for people to come and just, start the new season of Game of Thrones here. So yeah, no, I think once it's done, it will actually get a fair bit of use, and not even this so much. I'm actually expecting the most used part to be what's going to be over here. So these boxes are all the parts for a dozen gaming rigs.
Is this for the LAN center?
Yes.
Okay.
So you're standing in the middle of, these are our debranded tables. So we're going to have 6 of those.
They make these custom for you? They don't make this size, right?
No, no. Yeah,
there's no way.
They just sent us this, shoot, I forget what it's
called.
Like
a sheet of it?
Yeah, they sent us a sheet of this honeycomb black one that I think looks amazing. And we had a local guy come and do the 6 tables for us.
Okay.
So we've got 6 of these, 12 seats total. This is actually the first kind of semi-finished version of what it's going to look like. So it's going to be 2 players on each table like this. We're going to have blue, I think they're Yeti Minis?
Yes, I think so.
Nano?
Nano.
Sorry, Yeti Nanos. And then we actually did something that's going to surprise a lot of our viewers. We went AMD.
Okay, cool. R5 or what?
Actually, R7 2700X.
So what was the, what's the rest of the build? What do you have for video cards?
We're good. We've got RTX 2070s.
Okay.
16 gigs of, I think it's only 2666. But
that's
like,
fine.
It's fine. Seasonic 1000 watt power supplies.
Did you say 16 of these? How many?
12.
12.
12 of these rigs. So everyone's going to have Logitech's, whatever the
C9
renamed one. Yeah, renamed C920 with new housing. But it's the 4K one, actually. So no, I think it's technically actually new. So everyone's going to have a webcam, Yeti Nano, and I've already got people like, hey, when's it going to be done? I want to stream from the office because we've got our new 10 gig internet connection. So basically, you can't drop a frame.
Yeah, right. Let's I guess let's talk about this area. So
this has got to go.
Tech linked set. What's going? This
is going.
Why is that?
So the reason is that we're hiring more editors.
Okay.
So our camera den, which contains all of our gear and is where David and Brandon and our new grip are all going to sit, this is going to become more editing bays.
Okay.
So they are going to move out of here, and they're going to go to where we have all of our storage for cables, wires, adapters, I/O shields.
And then is that storage going like in there?
Here.
Or, oh, right. Okay.
So this is the old workshop, but all of the more hardcore tools. I don't know what to point. Sure. It doesn't need a mallet anymore. This goes in the new workshop.
Okay.
So this is only going to contain
sense.
PC building tools.
Okay.
This will be the PC building workshop. So
this has been here forever though, right? Like isn't this one of the first things?
Yes.
Yeah.
This was the first set that we built.
When we got a pegboard, people said we were copying you.
It's not. I was copying stuff I found online.
Okay, so this area is pretty cool. Everyone sees the sets, I guess, basically every day in the videos, or this one twice a week, I think, 3 times a week. And then the lighting, though, is not what's shown. So what's going on here? First of all, you configured it on your phone, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, so you can, here, a perfect one for me to use as a demo. No, I don't want to rate your app. Perfect one that's fun to use as a demo as the sky panel here. So we use these CASA modules, which honestly aren't that amazing. I don't know that I would give them a strong recommendation.
Okay.
But they're like mostly good enough. So the idea is that with the lighting grid, with the C-stands that are all sandbagged and kind of fixed in place, it's just a matter of coming through, being like, okay, tech-linked floor lights, and then you'll see that second floor light over there is going to go ahead and boop, turn on.
Cool.
So we can walk onto a set, put a camera in front of it, and we're ready to rock.
Nice. How long did this take to really figure out, like to get it dialed?
It took us probably 3 weeks.
Really?
To really get tech-linked perfected to the point where we don't change it anymore at all. Yeah.
That is cool. And you have a similar thing going on over here, I guess, and this is just a different group of lights or something?
You know, that's the greatest thing about the green screen is lighting is so important for a green screen, but the quality of the light doesn't necessarily matter as much. It's more about the positioning. So these are actually the cheapest lights in the entire building. An entire set of like 2 of these lights, including a stand, is like $100 or $150 or something like that. So we just have this top-down lighting on the back of the green screen, and then just a few soft boxes around the host. And then all we've done, the only thing we've done in the last little while is added this guy. So you get kind of that shine off the back of the host.
Cool.
Off their head. So it's like,
and let me ask,
gets a little bit better separation with the background.
Right. And then these, so we'll maybe talk about this in our other video.
Sure.
But can you, I guess, let's explain why this happens, because to me, when I first saw you guys using these in your own videos, I was just like, why don't you just clap?
Yeah.
But there is actually a reason for it.
Yeah,
so
of course.
What is the reason?
So for one thing, this does actually give you a sharper waveform if you are trying to synchronize versus a clap.
Okay.
So it's like a vertical line, basically, which is nice. Also, it contains a whole bunch of useful information. So when you have a different person editing the video versus the one who shot it, this stuff is so important. So we need to know what camera was it shot on. That can help us diagnose things like a piece of dust or lint on a sensor. We should probably include our lens as well, to be perfectly honest with you. This tells us what video it is. So if we're going through and looking, so it's really important to have your slate as the first frame in the video so that it will show up as your thumbnail in the software that we use, which is called Kino, that allows us to see thumbnails for file formats that aren't natively supported by Windows, like R3D. So this tells us
much faster for the editors to find what they need.
At a glance, if someone accidentally ingested a clip into the wrong folder, for example, you can see, oh no, this was TechLinked 143 instead of 142. The integration, this tells us who the sponsor is. Honestly, this doesn't matter as much, but it would give the editor pause if the wrong read was done, and they could be like, hey, did we change this for a reason? The writer is important for, I think we don't really track that anymore, but whatever. Microphone. So this tells us, do we have a problem with the microphone? Was it a positioning issue? Which SD card and which meg it was shot on. This is incredibly important because our policy is to take a picture of the slate and put it in our Trello card so that if that project goes missing, we know which cards we have to then go find on our
investigate.
That's right, on our media sign-out board to find out what happened to it. Camera op, this is important because if any of this gets lost, we know who to ask for it.
Right.
And then the date is, well, the date, I don't know. Seems important. Also, these helpful notes written by Max, who used to work here.
I swear to whatever God you believe in, if you don't take a thumbnail, there will be consequences.
So when I hold it up, I have that nice little reminder for myself.
That's awesome. All right, so then we've looked at these sets a little bit. We can talk about this one briefly, too.
Sure.
We shot that whole laptop overclocking thing in here.
Yeah, that was fun.
And this room is genuinely really impressive because when I first walked in here, if you kind of don't look up above the walls, it does look like an actual house.
So my wife and we also had a third-party interior designer, and then also an architect designed the whole thing for us. So we provided our architect with some sort of condo layouts, and we went, well, we don't actually need a fridge or a bathroom,
or running water in the sink.
Or running water or anything. So can you design it around like we don't actually need some of that stuff and give us kind of a kind of typical condo layout? Because what I observed was that the problem with our sets compared to like a sitcom set is what I really borrowed from a lot, because they're designed to look like a place people actually live, but they obviously aren't. In fact, most of them are quite open. So they have all these corners.
There's like 3 walls normally?
But none of them are 90 degrees.
Okay.
Actually, usually it's more than 3. So they'll have these segments, and they have this shape and this depth to them. And I was like, we need to achieve that. People kind of walk down hallways, but obviously there's no room there. Right. So we borrowed from that a lot. So that's why you'll see corners like that are not 90 degrees. It still makes the space feel like a room, but it's a weird shape that you would never see in an actual building.
So let me ask then. Obviously, Linus Tech Tips sort of really got its rise in that house.
Yes.
Where you did a lot of the videos in the kitchen.
Yep.
I know everyone saw the comments about like, I missed the kitchen, right? Was this a response to that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So did you personally feel like you had an attachment to that style?
Not an emotional one, but
Okay.
I did miss shooting in the kitchen because it is just a really convenient place to shoot. You got in a real one, you've got your sink,
Right.
For cleaning stuff or whatever. You've got your island, which this is a super, we're
This is
really
really
proud
cool.
of this. This island is not a real island. It's attached to an up desk. So we can actually raise it if we want to do content that's standing level like this and we want to be comfortable, or we can lower it if we want to sit down or we want to be able to shoot down at something more easily so the camera operator doesn't have to like get up on something.
Right.
So this is
Very
great.
cool.
So it's even better than a real kitchen, except the sink doesn't work.
Yes, and people, I see you've, as you showed me, you've added bins for collection.
Yeah, just in case people dump things down the sink.
So no emotional attachment to the old kitchen, but
No, it
it
kinda
did feel,
works.
it does feel more like a startup, right? Because we moved out of our house too, and you lose some of that charm, I guess.
I have this curve, or this graph of sort of your investment versus your production values. As you invest 0, your production values are actually quite high because your house inherently has set deck
Right.
and looks lived in. It looks natural, right?
Yeah.
And then as you spend, a whack of money on an empty box with no, foam sound deadening on the walls, and you've actually spent a lot of money, your production values actually go to 0. And then you have to spend far more again in order to bring them back up to what you had in the first place.
Yeah.
But then at least you get that work-home separation, and it
And
really
le-
helps the
and-
mental state, I think.
Legitimacy too, so you're not dealing with constantly looking, because we were in that situation too, where you're constantly looking over your shoulder for the town to evict you. In your case, you actually did get a notice. That's all documented, but
Not just a notice, they showed up.
yeah.
Yeah, they talked to us.
yeah,
Conversation.
it's difficult. It's because financially a house makes a lot of sense,
It does, it did.
right? You're just not supposed to do it,
Yeah.
but you can't really blame us either.
Yeah.
So this is a really cool set. There's that other one right through here, right? The bedroom set?
Yeah.
Okay. So is that accessible? You just have to go out this way and then around?
Yeah, and then there's
Okay.
this weird roll. We can go look at it.
Yeah, sure. So how much freedom do the guys like Brandon have to just be like, you know what, I need another light here. Do they just buy it, or
They
they go to you?
submit them for approval, but we never really deny them.
I see.
So make of that what you will.
Right.
So our original plan was to actually have a hallway that connected these two and have a door into the bedroom. But then we realized it was more space efficient to not do it that way. I'm sorry that I can't get any of these lights turned on for you.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah, I don't actually. Oh, well, there's your problem. The coolest thing though is this sliding bookcase. So normally you would have the entry into the room left open, but this gives us more options. We can shoot in every single direction in this room. And if people don't watch the vlogs or the behind the scenes videos or whatever, they'll be none the wiser. It'll seem like we just have more sets.
Right.
So this whole thing just slides
I'm also impressed how little.
shut.
That is cool.
And now there's no escape.
I'm impressed with how little echo there is in here. Because if you had a room like this with with a ceiling, you would have echo issues.
So that cellulose foam that we had over in the other unit is also in here. And because we have so much more clutter and stuff in here, you hear it a little bit.
Yeah.
But for just conversations, we couldn't, from this distance, you and I could not hold a conversation in these 3 units when we first took possession.
From all the echo and reverb, I guess?
Yeah.
Big changes. So WAN show set. What is a...
I don't know what happened here. What did we do to the WAN show set, Ed?
We made room for the fridge. We made it look pretty.
Oh, right, because the roast tonight, sponsored by Madrinas, so we put a mini... Did they send us a mini fridge for this?
They brought it with them, I think. I don't know.
Okay.
It's there.
Cool.
We were talking yesterday about how you have editorial separation now from the ad side of things, which is really important, right? And so I guess your personal visibility to who the advertisers even are.
A lot of the time, I don't know. I will be surprised to find out. I'll be doing a sponsor read. I'll be like, oh, okay, sure. And in most cases, I don't even know how much they're paying for spots. Occasionally, I'll check with the guys. I'll be like, hey, like, is revenue okay? Like, what are we charging for spots?
Right.
But a lot of the time, I actually don't know. And truthfully, the biggest difference for me is I really don't care. We're at the point now, and we've reached it a long time ago, where literally any single tech company, any 5, if they hated us and didn't engage with us at all, we'd be like, okay.
Well, that's the advantage of sponsors like Madrinas or like
Exactly.
the jerky guys.
I get a lot of people commenting on our sponsors saying, what does Dollar Shave Club have to do with tech?
That's the point.
Nothing.
Yeah, that's the point. And despite ragging on everyone for the vacuum thing, which is really just because it was also coordinated, right? Vacuums as a sponsor are actually not that bad because
We don't review them.
Right.
We have nothing to do with them.
As long as it's not a review, then who cares? Yeah.
Yep. So we communicate very clearly because a lot of the time on the brand side, it's actually the same point of contact for money and for creative.
Okay.
But from our side, we communicate very clearly that if you want to have a creative conversation, that's with me, or an editorial conversation, that's still me or someone from my writing team. And if you want to have a money conversation, you talk to someone from the sales team.
Right.
And this is actually a new policy, so I do have obviously some visibility into who our sponsors are and how much they pay us, but the writing team no longer does at all.
Oh, interesting.
So
okay.
all they know is we have a sponsor for this project. Here's who it is.
Okay. Yeah. Good policy.
So we're moving our way towards.
That's like traditional magazine format, the way they used to do it,
Yep.
which is pretty good. Yeah.
And the reality of it is, there's honestly no pressure on us from the outside to make any of these kinds of changes. I think, and it's not something that I like, but I think the landscape is changing and has changed to the point where the average consumer not only doesn't know, but even when they do know, they just don't care.
Yeah.
One of the terms that makes me the most frustrated is paid review, because there's no such thing as a paid review.
Yeah.
And so we're always really, really careful with the word review.
Yeah, you use Spotlight
We use
and things like that.
we use Showcase.
Showcase, that's it. Yeah, Showcase.
If it's sponsored, it's a showcase. I feel like we've communicated very clearly to our audience that while you cannot put an opinion in my mouth, if you sponsor the video, there are talking points. They won't be my opinion. If I give an opinion, that's mine. If it's a review, there are no sponsored talking points. There's no message from the sponsor, and we draw a very clear line there. The problem for us is that throughout the rest of the industry, there is no line, and by and large, as far as I can tell, the general consumer doesn't care.
We have the same concern where I've had people post comments about, we worked with Canepan, the overclocker, on looking at his new video card.
Who obviously is employed by EVGA.
Yeah, and there was a comment that was like, this is the best ad I've ever watched. It wasn't an ad. Like, it was just reporting. It's like at a trade show, there's news topics, there's new products, we talk about them, and that's the news. But the landscape, as you say, has changed so that now even that's perceived as paid for, which when it isn't is very frustrating. So
yeah, because I mean, if you're going to be accused of being a paid shill, you might as well get a paycheck.
Actually do it, right? Yeah, like just commit to it. Yeah, it's difficult.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Nice.
These are actually counterweights for the jib.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so they go on these bars right here.
I like this too, the C-stand stand.
Yeah, our contractor actually made that up custom for us.
It's very good.
It was going to cost us like $1,000 in shipping to get like the good one that's only available in the States at that time.
So you just build one, right?
So you just build one.
Yeah.
It costs way less. So my office is a disaster. I moved a couple weeks ago, but I've actually hardly been here, so I haven't had time to really set it up properly.
The desk, we've seen, and you did the build video on that.
We're going to do a new desk.
Oh, really?
Actually, I'm really excited about Desk
Okay.
PC V2. The
like
target
this.
is 2U.
Okay.
So,
2U spacing?
yeah, it'll be flat.
Nice. That's cool. Is this thumbnail getting made?
Yep.
This is
I like this thumbnail already. So Riley's new area, I guess. This is all reshuffled, right? All
Yeah.
this stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So Anthony, Alex, Jake, James. Although they're not all going to have 2 desks for long. Certain people need 2 desks, like Anthony and Alex. Probably Jake as well. James won't end up with 2 desks once we're adding 2 more writers very soon.
Oh, okay.
And so we're going to have desks out here, and they're not. Good luck, guys. Ain't happening.
Then finally, I guess this can be the end of the tour.
This is what pays for it all.
Is this sales now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So sales and Floatplane, actually. So Nick's in charge of sales. Lloyd does merch. I think we've only shown him on camera a handful of times. Colton and Jono are out of here right now, preparing for the roast.
Oh,
And
that's John's old office too, before he moved.
that's right. So he's back actually in your neck of the woods now.
That's
that I
right,
think about
yeah.
it. That's right. And this is where Floatplane Media sits. This is the divider. This is their excellent sign that we moved over from the other side, actually. Floatplane Media.
Right. So is this where Luke is now?
Yep.
Oh, he's back there. Okay.
Yep. So Luke's right there, and then
That looks like a Luke setup.
we're actually going to have one more of the guys, Will, joining us very soon. So we're going to have 2 of them here. Honestly, they're going to need their own office at some point. Like, people go like, "Oh, Linus, why do you have so many sponsors?" Like, and I sit there and I go, "Why do I have so many expenses?"
Yeah, yeah.
But Floatplane, I think Floatplane is doing something really, really important.
Well, YouTube is terrifying to work under, right? So yeah, it makes sense.
I mean, since day 0, Linus Media Group has existed to try to figure out how to not make itself entirely reliant on YouTube. That was honestly the reason we created the forum. Because in the event that shit went down, the idea was, okay, well, we're going to have 500,000 email addresses. That
Right, you can still communicate with your
it's
audience.
dubiously legal whether or not we could actually send an unsolicited email. Hey, guys, YouTube kicked us off. We're over here now. Honestly, if it was down to our survival, we'd probably just do it
Yeah,
anyway.
of course. Because who cares at that point, right? What are they going to do? Shut you down?
What can they do to us?
Yeah.
So that was it. That was the reason we created it. That's the entire value of the forum. I don't care if we ever make money on it. In fact, we don't. It's run mostly by volunteers. We have some contributors who cover the server costs and the occasional paid license for things that we do actually need to buy. But as far as I'm concerned, if it breaks even and it's there as an oh no emergency button, hey, that's better than nothing. But in the meantime, what Luke, Jaden, Will, AJ, the rest of the team, or Yuki, what those guys are working on is like a backup plan, not just for us.
Right.
So will it succeed? I don't know.
It's worth it though. Safety nets often are.
And then, of course, the real boss. She's not here today either, but it's locked. Okay, so that's
your old office though.
That's my old office. So my wife's in there now, and then the reason she got the big one is actually because our part-time bookkeeper works with her in the same room as well, and it was the biggest one. So
Right.
there's actually 2 people in it.
Very cool.
People were like, why didn't Luke get Linus's old office? Because honestly, Luke's probably going to get kicked out of here sooner rather than later because Linus Media Group is adding so many people. He's bringing more people over here. We're just going to have to get them a separate office.
Right, right.
They're going to have to go legit. Getting kicked out of mom's basement, you know?
For the second time.
Yeah.
So I guess that's it for the office tour. Thank you, Linus, for showing us around. Much appreciated.
My pleasure. I'm glad to be helpful.
Yeah.
Honestly, you're doing far more for me. This guy is just an absolute saint. Not only is he coming up for LTX, which is incredible, like having
That's a good show.
other members of the tech community though be there makes it not Linus thing.
Right.
It makes it actually about the broader community, and without the participation of people like you and Jay, Barnacles was there last year, Lewis Rossman was there last year. Like, you guys changed our vision for the show, to be perfectly honest with you. Because all of a sudden, instead of it being about Linus Tech Tips fans coming and meeting up, it was like, no, hold on a second. These guys were there. They were getting absolutely mobbed This is bigger than that.
It's a good event. Like I think it's you're starting to get some exhibitors in there too, which is really
we
cool.
quadrupled down this year.
Yeah.
We're spending about $250,000 on it. So like,
yeah, there's value for everyone. So it's I'm looking forward to it.
it is possible actually with how well pre-sales are going that we could actually more than break even. I'm not going to say be profitable because there's plenty of costs that we're not accounting for that don't fall in the actual books. Like there's no way, but we could more than break even on the actual checks that we write.
Nice.
So I'm really excited. So he's coming up here not only for this, he's coming up to be part of the roast tonight. He came and helped host a video with me, that extreme overclocking laptop
That was
thing.
a lot of fun. You should check it out on his channel.
So yeah, no, thank you.
So if you want to contribute to Linus breaking even on LTX, what is the website?
Buy a shirt. Honestly, by the time this video goes up, I'd be surprised if there are any
They'll be
tickets
gone?
left.
Okay, well.
No, I lied. So we previously had a 500-seat BYOC. We're going to open up 100 more seats.
Okay.
So stay tuned. Do you remember the LTX Twitter? LTX Expo. At LTX Expo. Stay tuned there because Steve's going to be there. Are we allowed to announce who's going to be there yet? There's like a huge list. So I think Paul and Kyle are both confirmed. You're confirmed.
Yep.
Jay's confirmed. The point is, there's over a dozen people confirmed. A lot of them smaller, actually. So I'm really excited. It's going to be more grassroots than ever, and yet quadruple the size. So like, I don't know. I think that's just such a cool thing. And I hope
we'll be there covering it just like a real big show.
Just
so
like
that's
a real.
Awesome.
It is real.
You know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
I mean like Computex, right? Yes. That's pretty cool. They run something that you're getting coverage on. So check it out. Linus Tech Tips on YouTube if you want to subscribe and you're not already. And we will see you all next time.